Hello and welcome, everyone. This is our very exciting, long awaited series, Transforming Your Business, Being Prepared, Be Prepared for Your Future. And this is the GIGA Trend series with Gunter Conrad from Germany. Thank you so much, Gunter, for joining us. Woohoo!
Hi, new
And
adventure.
Yes, it is a new adventure. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, meeting Günther from Germany for the first time, it's an amazing experience for me for the last many months. Seeing him live and having conversations with him live. I'm going to introduce to you of formally this amazing human being that came into my life early this year. Thank you so much to Dr. Jess and Cleo for this virtual introduction, and then and I'm so grateful, Gunter, for the guidance you have been giving over the last couple of months, and then inviting me to show up in Germany for the first time. I showed up in Europe, and the way that you took care of me, like really. The deservability in me expanded, as we always say. What happened?
Slow, slow, please.
Why?
Thank you.
Well, I'm so grateful for this. And for those of you watching this series, you are in for an adventure, like what Gunther said. During this session, you will discover the goals of human evolution and then begin to understand the kind of present turmoil in society that's in front of us, in terms of the way that we are taking out and what's happening that right now, what you need to do to start to prepare yourself and your business for the future. And the evolution of mankind takes place in large time based and qualitative cycles. And all this information will be shared by Gunther on what's going on in the world, consisting of different ages. And at the moment, we are about to leave a dark age towards an age of light. In fact, I feel so in light with this amazing human being with me, I have to say. And after understanding the evolutionary goals, I can really vouch that we will definitely understand the new age we are part of. And Günter Conrad, the author of this principle that we have, call it the Giga Trend. He's the founder. He's the wonderful person that has put this whole journey together, and all the information that will guide you from into positivity, into optimism. And so that's the only way to go, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And and I have to say, before
Thank you.
officially we start this conversation with you, and for all of us to know Gunter as someone that I just introduced as a wonderful human being. He has an amazing corporate background. He works with companies to achieve sustainable success. We're talking about the Accenture. We're talking about big names that he has led in leadership role over the last 4 decades or 5 decades. And while he was a partner of the firm, he participated in the development and implementation of its global enterprise strategy. It was the foundation of long term multiplying growth. And nowadays, he works with his clients like me and many others in our network in Go Global Business School on implementing jointly developed transforming strategies, leading us to be competitive, or rather rising above competition for the future. And that's really the powerful journey we have embarked with him. So there's a lot of information that we'll be sharing with you on this journey we are going together. More than anything, it's a testimony for us that Gunter is with us, and it's such a blessing again for showing. And I'm going to show the screen, which will be about what we'll be speaking into, about unlocking the secrets of the future evolution. So, Gunter, why I I came to you at a time, and I will speak about that later, where I was really in a crossroad of how the responsibility of my our mission in Go Global and all of that. And I feel that I'm one such example. And what are the challenges you feel the current SMEs are facing, and how do you feel that is coming across in the world?
Well, I think the dimension of the change ahead is unprecedented. Is that how you call it? Yeah. So that has not happened in the past at all. And I just face constantly a lot of lack of understanding for my messages. Also, I've recognized over the time that there are different levels of knowledge and consciousness among the leaders of the companies, the owners of the companies. And I need to then also see what language I have to select to even be understood. And this is the typical maybe challenge of an inventor to really get understanding for what is offered. Only this time we are really talking of our whole societies on the planet, and therefore it is really relevant, and it is even more relevant as we have a major change of powers who have been running the planet over the last hundreds, if not thousands of years. And that is then obviously causing major turmoil and understanding. At the same time, we have such extremely, and you mentioned it already, positive messages because we are moving into such luminous, brilliant age, full of light in the future. Yeah, so.
Yes, and that's also one of the important element that we brought together, and how people are showing up right now in the world is also a big one. And you have actually, what you want to share with us. Like when I came to you, I was also in the space of depression and going through a lot of heartbreaks based on a partnership breakdown, and that is also something that's happening in the world. So we talk about COVID, but there's some other element in the world that is taken over for humanity. Like almost, I feel like it's a breakdown. So what have you got to say about that?
Well, my whole journey on this whole topic started in 2014, 10 years ago, where I had to prepare a presentation in front of top managers on the island of Sylt in the north of Germany. And so then when I gave the presentation, I had 5 pages of bad news. And after the fourth page of bad news, which was about this one here, they said, "Now come on, when can you stop with your bad news?" Something like this. And then so gradually then we realized that there is some good news in the future. But some of the statements I made these days in 2014, I did not know what they really meant. One of these statements I basically said maybe every day 5 times or more, everything comes to the table. And I didn't really know what it means. Now we are recognizing what it means. Yeah, and even getting really an understanding of of this major change means that when we don't know, our principle is if we don't know something, we don't recognize it. We even don't see it. It can go past by and we don't see it because we don't recognize it and we don't know it. And that is, I think, the whole process we are in. And I'm lucky enough to sort of be in the front and to be led into the sources or to the sources like Art of Living in Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, where all the knowledge, from where I really have the source of the knowledge. And so that's my luck, basically. And here I am, and I share it with you now. And now as it changes, so my work is transforming companies since 30 years, and there's always the question, how do we do really transformation, and do we do it bit by bit, or do we destroy it totally and then burn it, and then comes out a new world out of the fire? What is really the right process? And okay, now this process here is so radical on the one hand that it's pretty difficult to imagine. And at the same time, it is, I think, we need to understand that it is has a divine guidance, and really that is very principle which most people don't understand. They are all have their religion, but the religion was unable to tell them how it really works, or unwilling to tell them. So there are very few people who really understand, have a dialogue, let's say a constant dialogue with the divine, and understand that they are led by the divine. So yeah.
Oh my God, I so relate to you, and that's the one source conversation that keeps us all connected, and
Mhm.
that keeps us going. And the way that you have been explaining this, and that's what, when we talked about the kind of situations that people are in, like, you talk about divine guidance, basically loss of a lot of stressful moments that make people doubt and live in fear.
Yes.
And that's where this whole situation has become. I mean, anything from war in the world to breakdown in relationship comes from a lack of trust in ourselves and what's available for us, and fear, right? So how do you see that as blowing up in the world?
This we get into the new age only through chaos. That is one principle of nature, and we really need to understand that we have powers running the planet over such a long time. And the interesting part I'm observing, and that's how I see it, is that they are dissolving their own systems right now without knowing. And then when we then see the light in the future, the pure light, divine light in the future, and for all of us, means because we are moving into this new age of love, as I call it, then we can understand, and then we understand what major change is required, and that needs to be dissolved. And our response can be with love, and that be and gratefulness, which is the same. And that's it. I don't hear you.
Sorry, I got muted. I just want to make sure that there's no background noise to overcome this kind of situation and the chaos, like what we say, the rough sea that the whole world is facing. There is a very silent movement I feel is happening behind. And that's the conversation that all of us have started working on. Like last 20 years ago, when we speak about consciousness in this part of the world and what you were doing from that part of the world, it was all like separated. And now, it's coming together and we are singing the same tune or the same song of unity, even though we've come from so much of, differentiation. So this movement is not something that started yesterday, or just that everything is coming up into the surface. And what does that look like for you at this moment?
Well, I mean, here we have exactly the whole principle of the human evolution, because we are basically unfolding our ultimate potential. That means it's here, or it's in us already, and we just need to take it out and unfold it. And we get all possible support from the universe. And I mean, really, with the universe. Maybe very funny, but even other cultures in the universe are helping. And we are recognizing, and there are obviously also these masters who are telling us really the story, like Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, that I am a part of you, that we are all together, connected. We are connected all with all, that our
Yes.
souls are connected, and not only the people souls, even the animal souls and the plant souls. It's all one. And now that's a major step, right? That's a jump. That's a major jump. I think that's pretty clear. So that is one of the principles, and this picture here shows that we are how we are communicating. We are communicating through the field, through the morphological field or unified field or whatever you call it. My intuition reaches into the unified field, and the better my intuition is, the better I'm connected. And we have so many proofs now that this is working that way. But there are many religions which have suppressed this type of information. And now our consciousness rises, and so we are catching it bit by
Yes.
bit, and person
Yes.
by person, and some earlier and others later. Now you're gone again.
Yes, and so this is really something so powerful because when I met you online and then we went through all these conversations, when I said I'm going to Germany, and especially when I've never been there in my life, everybody around me, especially my family, was like, "Where you going? Who you meeting?" I mean, like, this is like somebody, and when I mentioned about it, it's like you've not really seen the person, and you're
Which
going
robber are
there.
you meeting?
Sorry.
Which robber are you meeting?
Yes. So it's like such a to anybody in the common mind. Of course, we met through a very reliable source, and that's the power of this community. So meeting through reliable source, we always have one clause: do your own due diligence. Heads up to everyone. So right, so doing your own due diligence is very important. And for me, my due diligence is always checking in with my intuition and trusting the process. And that's how it has always guided me all these years. When I say trust the process, is trusting divine guidance that is showing me where to show up and to go forward. So until I came, and even when I was traveling, it was always about checking in to see how I am being guided and where
Sure.
this is going. And for a fact, it was through you I met Bettina as well. So there's so much of opening of hearts and opening of clarity that came through the consistent support you gave. And for somebody who doesn't understand divine guidance, we may think like, what's in it for them to do it? What's the catch here? There's
Mm.
always this mind voice that goes like, what's the catch here? What's in it for them? Why are they giving so much? These are the questions that constantly come up in making people live in fear and doubt. But
That's
Gunther, you have been so open. Is that how you've been all your life?
ask my family. I don't know. Well, I think what there is one streak which is very obvious over decades, that I've been in the forefront of development. Yeah, so in my company in Accenture, I was in the forefront of development, and I was put on jobs which were helping to transform the company. So that is very clear. And even in my former life, of which I have a lot of knowledge, I was in the forefront. So something like this. Maybe that's part of my soul. And yeah, and that's I think that's why I'm on the planet now.
Oh,
And that's
definitely. It's like you are living your life purpose because the kind of inspiration that you gave me when you told me you drove in the night. Let me recall back. It was 2011. You drove all the way from Germany to Calcutta,
but not
and
alone.
not alone.
No,
Exactly, of course.
15 of us.
Yes, 15 of you. And that was such a mind blowing thing for me to know, especially that such a world exists in Germany. When I traveled to Germany, especially the Chiemsee Lake, and that what I saw was like the whole place was like for me because nobody was traveling at that time. And it was such a beautiful space to enjoy and to have this kind of guidance from you as well as we go through the consulting, the strategies with you, the way that you open my mind and my heart to new possibilities. To me, exploration is beyond just seeing things. Sometimes my family say I think too deep, but depth gives us the real purpose of living. And I
Right.
feel like you are one man that have lived life in such depth. that learning from you is such an honor, such a privilege, and such a blessing. I'm really
Yes, so,
grateful for that.
well, thank you that you recognize it. But here I can also refer back to the divine. Yeah, even that is divine. Please give it up to the divine. I hand it on, okay?
Yes. So you did have some very interesting human evolution prototypes that you
Yeah.
speak about, and I think Jesus is one of we call Isa the prophet, prophet Isa for us, and that's a powerful conversation that we can have. Do you want to explain a little bit about this?
Yeah, okay. Could you please shortly go back to the previous page? Yeah, okay. So what we have here is really supernat. In the end, we will have supernatural abilities. Yeah, and then I was looking around and being close to Sri Ravi Shankar for 20 years gave me the feeling and an impression and real life impressions as to what is possible with supernatural abilities. He's a master who does not show his ability, who does not show his supernatural abilities, but you once you know they are there, then you can guess them basically. And so then I thought, okay, maybe there are more of these guys around, and that's I gave them the word of prototype. And okay, and so and now I and now and now I know. And in the last 2, 3, 4 years, I've been I've been put in touch with a whole number of very normal people who are no masters at all, but who have supernatural abilities, who's convincingly talk to plants, for example, and stuff like this, and to stones. Can you imagine? And who get upset when stones are put into fences, which is a technology used here in Germany to make walls, artificial walls. Okay, so now I think I let me say one major thing here is still that we'll be living in harmony with laws of nature. That means we will not need any ethical standards anymore, and we won't need any moral anymore, which has been suppressed on us by other bodies. I don't, you know exactly what I mean. Okay, so okay, now we can move on. And so here we have the prototype, and even nowadays there are people walking, walking on water, which is another example. And I've seen a video even of London where somebody walked on water, and that was already 15 years ago. So I don't think it was camouflage. It was done in artificially. Okay, so that's one part, and then here the Aborigines, they are communicating with the Red Indians in America without a phone. And I know a doctor in my neighborhood who was there with the Aborigines and said yes, they are doing it. So okay, so another one. Okay, and then yes, it's amazing. This Sri Sri, I always say that he is not preparing any one of his speeches. Maybe not, I'm totally right, but I'm assuming, let's say like that. He basically, when he starts when he starts a show, what do you call it, a presentation or a meeting with 100 people in the hall, then he sits there 5 minutes, and before he sits there for 5 minutes, it's quiet, and I think he scans every single person in the room, and then he starts talking about topics which are in exactly with these people. And I could see it because my wife was sitting there with migraine, and he started talking migraine, etc., etc. So there are many instances which you are not assuming, which you cannot guess, sort of, let's say like this, but which in the end are really happening. And there are a whole number of examples which are how do you call it, which are spread in the very close circle of the people around him, of wonders he has been doing, but he doesn't make a show like other gurus are doing. So we just need to see this is the way where we are moving. And yeah, and I think what is most important is that the children which are born nowadays have a totally different intelligence early on, just early on when they are born. And so of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, there is a story when he was 4 years old. There was a visitor in the family coming to the family, and the little Ravi was quoting from the Bhagavad Gita. And then the visitor told the parents, you know what smart little kid you have here. Okay, so they started supporting the little kid, and with 16 he had to finish his how do you call it, physics studies with a diploma. Yeah, so okay, so these are and the children nowadays. I've just become grandfather of a little girl,
Congratulations.
and this is she cannot talk, but she looks so smart. It's unbelievable. You can imagine that she really understands everything,
Yes.
and the reaction also. And I don't think that was in my age like this. So
I
this is a proof that we are moving in the new age. Yeah. Okay. Now here we have a little problem. I have overlooked something changing it, and then it did not really work properly, or it did not convert by the PDF.
Yeah, let me see if I can change this.
No, I can read it out, and then it's fine as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so I think this is really the source of the whole knowledge and what is happening right now.
Hmm.
According to Sri Sri, there is the human evolution runs for in cycles of um, 20,000 years. One cycle is 20,000 years.
Yeah.
Ah, here it is.
Hmm.
Um, of 20,000 years, divided into four ages. And they have different names. This is all knowledge from the Ayurveda, basically, and maybe very few of us know that 5,000 years ago, 8,000 monks were meditating down the whole knowledge of for our life on the earth. I call it the user manual, and that's where where for our life, and that's really where this knowledge comes from. And each of these yugas has a different. And in India, people are very aware of it. In Europe, they have absolutely no clue of it, and they just look crazy at me because they think I'm crazy. And the question is, who really is crazy, or if we are all together crazy? So, anyways, the key point is they have these yugas have different qualities, and right now we're leaving the Kali Yuga, which is the I call it the age 5,000 years of fight and war, and we go into the age of golden age, or I call it the age of love. And in all this cycle, there is no bigger distance between the ages than this one, and that's why we're here. I think that's why we want to live through this, and this is so special. Okay, and here, if we get this in the back, and that if we understand that this has this positive outcome in the end, and that everything is really how do you managed by the divine, and even to the point of every second. Typical statement is I've been painted into the corner so often in my life, and I was then always rescued out of it. That I realized there is divine guidance. It took some time until I realized it, but now here I am, and that is the basis for the change. And then I ask myself, well, what does this mean for my clients? What does it mean for the companies I'm working for the owners of these companies? How do they develop their strategy, and how do we recognize this? And what does it mean? How do we act on this whole thing?
That has been a very powerful message for me, and the way that you have been working with us on our strategic, you know, progress on our strategies, and how you have been, at the beginning it was like you were so persistent in knowing what was going on and how we do what we do, and every single detail mattered to you. And that, I feel, was such an important part of me revisiting. When I explained to you, I'm like revisiting what was my intention, why I did what the way I did, or what we did, and why it happened in a certain way. All of that played a very important role in kind of unfolding. Much of the speed that we are going right now is a result of what has happened over the last couple of months, when I had a complete breakdown of the work. So now, with this, evolution cycle happening, you have created the GIGA Trends. And that is not just 12. I mean, like, we have a whole set of GIGA Trends. And this series is about speaking into the GIGA Trends. And I'm going to kind of like run through this, because we are talking about evolution. We're going to talk more into it. And the Giga Trend is meant to be a beacon of light to bring people to the next level of spirit, light, transparency, knowledge, intuition, trust, movement, convenience, mobility, and play. And the list goes on. We have like what, 20 Giga Trends. And I'm going to zoom right in to one Giga Trend that kicked us both going in the same, and in the same momentum. And that's how I feel you have kind of started mentoring us and taking us forward. And that's the Giga Trend number 14. So as we speak into it today, and we will speak on various Giga Trends, we're not going to go like one, two, three, four, but we're going to speak into it as it evolves. And that's how you started me on it, as I said, Giga Trend number 14. And that's about male dominance versus female leadership. And you have on your page that you are very focused in I wouldn't call it empowering, elevating and females leadership to the next level. And you have been doing just that for me in a most uh, effective way and the most influential way. You influence me without influencing. How about that?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for the flowers. Wow.
and and
Um,
and we need to speak into that, because I have to mention this for those of you who've been watching our Facebook, our LinkedIn. You would have seen me post about a breakdown in a relationship, in my partnership in business, and it was a big one for me. And I recognize how a 7 years of certain way of allowing myself to be treated, this ended up in the way that whatever that showed up for us. And it was quite a moment for me where I went through huge breakdown and depression, which was actually like a after effect of me having a lot of depression in the relationship, in the business. So I would love to have Gunter share it with this, because that was a time when I started reflecting how many women go through relationships in business. And at that time, I had a lot of my women partners and leaders step up and come to me, and they say, I told you so. And like, oh, I had that kind of experience with a former partner, and that I am still experiencing those. I'm being treated in a certain way because I'm a woman. I can't do this. I'm dependent. So all this thing is coming up, and it's real, Gunter. Don't you agree that it's really happening in the world right now for many women? And how much we allow ourselves to be suppressed, or become dependent, or fear. And it's always in the space of fear of losing, fear of abandonment, fear of uh, not taken care of, a false self-worth, and love conversations, right? So maybe you can speak to us on this, and share with us, because this is real in workplace, this is real in business, and it's sometimes, unfortunately, real in personal relationships as well.
yeah, this is a really large topic because it's one of these areas which are really proving that the last 5,000 years there was a um, clear suppression of women in all cultures, no matter where. And as I've been thinking about this in more detail and knowing even some individuals, or better, I need to say souls, who had very famous names in the past and who were then tortured. I'm talking of women, obviously, right? Who were tortured, etc., etc. And so it got clear to me in the last years that yes, there was this time where women were just too smart, and they needed to be suppressed. Because I think this is simply, sorry for my simplification, but by her role, by her simple role of in the universe, a woman has to be more versatile in her abilities than men are. And then as we are moving now from the age of fight and war and to the age of love. Now, what is more self-understood than okay, here we need the women, and then we have the interesting phenomenon that some women are trying to survive in management by becoming how do we call it? Maybe by adopting male values or male capabilities, even from dressing, etc., etc. But this time is changing now. There are very famous. There's this famous psychologist in the United States, Wilson Schaff, who has written a detailed book about it all together with Red Indian support, which is also in my list in my presentation, which is just showing it. And this is one of the other proofs that we are moving in the right direction and that the golden age is ahead of us. And now, obviously, with every change, we need to recognize that the women of today have been educated with the standards of the old time, and as a result, it's very difficult for them to have, for well, obviously for a few exceptions, they to really be self-secure and to stand up for what they are, because they have been educated in a different way. And that is really the difference which is going on. And this is like every change. When there is a change, I take the picture of a bridge. We are moving now across the bridge from one age to the other age. And sometimes we are right in the middle of the bridge with the one foot forward and the other foot backward. Yeah, and that's really how it works. So there are many people who don't just think they would like to believe what I tell them. Yeah, and they can't, they just have difficulties. And I think here is another key statement which I make very often. And there is nothing stronger than a giga trend for which the time has come, which is Victor Hugo made a similar statement for something else. But that is really the point. And nothing is stronger than the universe, full stop. And there is this major change, and it's going on no matter what you do, and the direction is clear also. And then people are very just don't believe it when they see all the war in the world and say, what are you telling us? Look at all the war here. I say, yeah, that's the past. This is the thunderstorm which is moving away.
It's really about clearing the space, and this is really a powerful conversations that we'll be having with you, Gunter. And this is just the tip of the iceberg for those of you listening in, because we are talking about 20 different giga trend. You want to go to the website gunterconrad.com, and I think can put it up there. And if you can also go into the to the website, you can get more information about the giga trends. There's 20 of them. Today we actually delve a little bit, tip of the iceberg, into the male dominance versus female leadership, and we're going to cover into more of these giga trends over the weeks to come, because we really want to see how these giga trends that is being created by Gunter actually are the beacon of light for entrepreneurs, for business leaders to step and be prepared to transform your business and be prepared for the future. And as we round off today's session, I just want to tune into the kind of good news we have for everybody. Take on this journey together, the actions to be taken. really about aligning, right? Aligning our organizations by the people for the people, and taking into holistic approach, not just like what we call in Go Global Business School the whole brain, whole being, the left brain, right brain integration, the feminine and masculine energy integration. And Gunter, you actually speak to my soul when you talk about strengthening of intuition and assuming our true power, because that's what you gave me, if at all, some real strong insights about me of who I am. Even walking through that dark lane that was freaking me out, pitch dark lane. And that was such a false, when we say fear, false evidence appearing real, that was what it was. And you actually showed that to me, and I mean, like, it's such a powerful thing. And thank you so much. For those of you, you want to watch this recording again, because we're talking about there is a law of nature we have not embraced in our life, and this is the time for us to do it. And also converting our companies to resilient high performance teams, that's only possible when we get mentored. We have mentors who guide us and take us forward in the same light they are in. So, Dame Doria Cordova last 2 days ago, last week, in the launch of the book, within the Superfans group, she talked about how we stand on the shoulders of giant, and you are one such giant that we are standing on.
Thank you.
So it's, I know it sounds so big, but Gunter, you have no idea. I mean, people need to know the kind of work that you have been doing in the corporate space, because you're not just some trainer trying to build a business out of something, but you are the experience that when people speak to you, we get to hear how does a journey, all the execution that happens when somebody travels on road from German to Calcutta, and how does someone take care of 3,000 consultants globally staying in one place, and how you work with the various. So learning from you is such a blessing, and I have to relate to that in an effective way. So the good news is we do have proven tools that works with you. So definitely, Gunter is in your access. We are committed in Go Global to create high performance teams. There's so much of knowledge in books, self development tools are there, and all the work that we do. Maybe Gunter, you want to tell us about what we really need right now?
Um, the one word comes to my mind, and that means belief, because the story is so crazy that it's difficult to believe. And especially during the COVID, we have experienced that there is a very big split in the population of people who are highly intelligent, but at the same time fall prey to information which is which is strong, which is false. Yeah, and they don't understand. They didn't understand, although they were highly intellectual. They didn't understand that they are lied to, and that is the major change. And but then I think you shortly showed I think the silver tablet. My principle is that what I offer as knowledge is offered on the silver tablet. You take it or you leave it. I think that is really the key point. That's extremely important. This is a free and how do you call it event. You take what you require and you leave on the silver tablet whatever you want to leave. And every one of us has a different development path over even from soul to soul to soul, and that we need to recognize, and there needs to be full tolerance for everybody. Yeah, I think that's really important. So we are no missionaries, to make it very clear.
And I thank you so much for your valuable time. And we know that we're going to have a lot more conversations around the Giga Trend. I'm sure with this one conversation, for those of you who are watching this live or on recording, you would want to share and like, and also forward this to the amazing friends and business leaders in your network that needs to know that the next level of growth is in your adaptation of the next level of what the world is already growing into. And that's really about consciousness. It's really about getting into your element of confidence and potential. And that's what Giga Trend presents to you. And go into the website, take a look at, I think I want to share with you the link. I think there's a spelling error there on I just noticed it. It's Gunter. uh
Why? What is the spelling?
there's an additional E I put in there. So it's gunterconrad.com. You
No,
want to
no,
go
no.
in?
Oh, there is the E missing.
Yeah. Was it with the E?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I copy pasted the correct one then. Yep. So, and then you would want to also maybe click into the QR code that can also take you to his website and make it available for you. Of course, you can go to shinegoglobal.com, get in touch with us, and let us know on connecting with Gunter as well. We're more than happy to do that for you. So, thank you so much once again for tuning in, and we look forward to catching up with you the next time. Thank you so much, Gunter, for being with us and guiding us forward.
Well, I need to really say thank you to you for this unbelievable moderation. Uh, I was not aware what I was up to when I came to know you and when we started working with each other. So, thank you very much. This is a real highlight in my career, if I may call it this way.
Good. It's
Thank you
always a
for being,
blessing to be blessed by my mentors.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for bringing light to this whole topic in such a highly qualified manner.
Thank you.
I,
Thank you. And look forward to meeting all of you. If you are just joined in, I see some of you just joining in. You can, watch the video later on and get into more synergy with us. With that, catch up with you
okay.
soon. Thank you
So
and
thank you
God
very
bless.
much.
These
Okay.
greetings to everyone.
Okay. Thanks a lot.